Hello everyone and welcome back. Now if you're like me and you hate campers, you're going to love this video because I obliterate this guy camping on a hill. Alright, so let's jump right in. I'm not going to go too much into my setup. It's the standard setup: 6 katana samurai, 2 yari samurai, 2 bow ashigaru, a matchlock ashigaru, and 2 yari cavalry. Pretty simple. This guy hasn't quite revealed his force yet, but it ends up being 5 katana samurai, 1 yari samurai, 3 bow ashigaru, and 4 yari cavalry. Now what he's gonna do, this guy's so smart, look at this guy, he thinks he's so smart. He's gonna sit right here on this hill, it's the highest point in the map. He's just gonna sit in these trees on this hill and just camp. Awesome. So, I had to think about what I was gonna do to dislodge this guy from the hill. My first instinct was to come around this side where I thought the slope was kind of more gentle, but I decided not to because I thought of something better. Now let's look at this guy's defensive position. I'll double the speed, it'll take a while. He's sitting here on this hill, a lot of trees. So you think, trees. They make a very defensible position, don't they? Yes, they do, but they can also be very detrimental to an attacker, especially if you look at his army. This is not a good place for him to be with his army. Look how much cavalry he has. He has 4 yari cavalry. Now, I don't know if you can read this on the YouTube, but look at the forest. It says, forests are highly effective at hiding units, but greatly reduce the combat ability and speed of cavalry units. Look how much cavalry he has. He has a lot of cavalry. So the perfect counter to this defense is to use the forest, and luckily for me, there's a nice little forested path right up the backside of this hill. Not only that, but his missile units will be nearly ineffective too, because of the forest. I'm just going to be able to walk around here and just take a nice little slope up the hill. So that's what I decided to do. I'll turn up the speed here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these guys just out of the bow range and use this forest here. Now, about this time he split his cavalry up, yep, there he goes, into 2 flanks, 1 on each side. So I split up my spears accordingly. Got 1 spear that's independent, not in a control group, that's going to hang out around the missile units, and the other one's going to stick with the infantry to cover from the cavalry. Now look what he's doing here. He thinks he's keeping his general safe way over here outside the battle. That turned out to be a very bad decision, but we'll come to that. So let's turn up the speed here. Now here we go, going through the forest. Now I thought he was eventually going to move his general, and the only reason he hadn't was just because he was doing other things first. But he ends up leaving his general there the whole battle, so I came up with this idea. So I'm going to hide my cavalry way over here, so he'll forget about him. Then once the battle is joined, and when he uses his cavalry in the battle, his general will be completely alone, and my cavalry will jump out and just kill his general. Pretty good strategy, right? So let's see how it works out. I'm still kind of deciding exactly how I'm going to attack this. I got to move my guys around a little bit. I decided to use that avenue. I move everybody so they're in a straight line right to the enemy line, using this forest just as wide as the forest, so they'll stay in the woods. So here they are moving. My missile units are going to be over here in this wooded area where they can kind of shoot across the open field. Now there's cavalry threatening them, I know, but I have this yari spear here that's going to be guarding them. And he'll make sure they don't get in too much trouble. My bow's already starting to shoot. So are his. His are trying to shoot at my cavalry. I'll lose a couple guys though, no big deal. I could have been a little more careful, but I was getting a little impatient at this point. Not a good thing, but yeah, it worked out. Okay, here I go, on the assault. I'm going to set up my guys to be just about as wide as the forest. The spears are ready to go. I have them here in the middle. I'm going to try and lure his cavalry into making an early charge against the katanas, thinking that he'll have the advantage, because most people think, hey, put the spears on the flanks, right? But sometimes you don't want to. You want to lure the cavalry in and then hit them when they're pinned down by your swords. So here comes his cavalry, right into the forest where cavalry sucks at fighting. I mean, cavalry is really bad in a forest. They barely do anything, and you'll see that in the video. So his missile units are starting to hit mine. But look, they're not taking hardly any casualties. This katana took a few, but everybody else is basically untouched. And they're all focusing on this one. They've only lost 13 guys. I'm going to reach their force while still having over 100 katanas in that unit. So here we go, up the hill. The spears move up. I should have been a little more careful. I should have kept them closer to the bow units because they ended up getting hit, and I was too busy worrying about the main attack, and this unit of bow ashigaru got hit pretty hard. So here comes my infantry. I tell my katanas to attack individually, units on their front line, leave everybody who's left over in reserve. The spears start crossing over to the cavalry. Now he forgot about his cavalry, I guess, because they didn't end up moving. My spears were the ones to hit them. They've already got some wavering here. I mean, bow units already have bad morale in melee, but his general's so far away, they're all outside of the radius. So his cavalry is hitting my bows, but the Yari samurai get there. I ended up losing that bow unit. Cavalry is still hidden. They're waiting for the perfect time. Once these cavalry units get pinned down, I'm going to make a beeline for his general. So his bow units are routing. They're broken. They'll come back later. So I push on to his infantry. That's when he brings his cavalry out. Must have forgotten they were there again. There they are, getting torn apart by my spears. One unit, broken, gone. The other one is about to die. And they're still in the forest, giving the combat bonus to my troops and really hurting his. Now here goes my cavalry. They are going out to just beeline to the general, get him dead. Now everybody else seems to be really lucky besides me. My general often dies in really stupid circumstances, and even when I just rush his general like that, he still won't die. There were 3 men left in that unit when they shattered, and the general was one of them, figures. Okay, so that cavalry unit is also gone, shattered. So these infantry is going to come up and just make a nice little flanking. Missile units start moving, get better angles, especially the muskets. I'm going to try and break these guys. I don't really want to grind it out if I don't have to. So here's his general, getting hurt. Not sure why they went chasing the bow units, but I brought him back to kill the general. And at this point, the battle is pretty strongly in my favor. There's basically no way I can lose it at this point. Here we go. See, look, 7 guys in that unit. The general is still alive. I never get to kill him. Still alive. They shattered, though, so I left, and a routed general is just as good as a dead one. He ended up randomly dying. I'm not sure how. Okay, there goes some broken units. There he goes. The enemy general's dead. Not sure how it happened. Why couldn't have happened earlier, but here comes the cavalry. Clean up. No problem. That was when everybody else shattered. Battle's over. So that's how you can take out a camper. Use his position to your advantage. Defense is not always the best strategy. Please don't go into battles thinking that if you make somebody attack you, you have the advantage, because it's not true. I had a huge advantage in this battle. By attacking through this forest, his missile units and his cavalry, which are the bulk of his army, couldn't do anything to me. I had a huge advantage in this battle. Get out of this paradigm that sitting on top of a hill is the best way to approach a battle, or to camp, or make the other guy attack you. Because most of the time, the attacker has the advantage. That's why my win-loss ratio is so good, because I'm always attacking. I can be proactive, hit the core of his army, and use the terrain to my advantage. There aren't really any places in this game where you can just sit in camp and have a clear advantage. There's always a way to attack everywhere, especially here. It seems like such a good position, a wooded hill. It's so obvious, but it's not. Especially with his makeup. With all that cavalry, he really should have put his troops somewhere that he could use his cavalry better, because the forest around here just neutralized his cavalry. They couldn't do anything. You saw how fast they routed. They hardly killed anyone. And all it took was just my infantry walking in and just beating him up. Especially with his general. Really, really bad of him to keep him far from the front lines like that. And I was able to easily hide my cavalry, forgot about him, and just beeline for his general right when all his units were tied down. So that's how you can attack a defensive position. Remember to stay on the offensive. You oftentimes have the advantage if you're on offense. Just be smart about it. You know, depending on the position, you skirmish your archers, attack from a wooded forest, you know, whatever. But there's always a way to attack that puts you in advantage. So look for that and use the terrain to your advantage. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.